More details when they come to hand. The coalition is vowing to shore up water security for Tasmanian producers should it win the next federal election. The opposition has pledged $150 million to the Greater Southeast Irrigation Scheme. It's tipped to supply more than 37,000 megalitres of water. Joining me now is Deputy Nationals Leader and Shadow Water Minister Perrin Davey. Hi there, Perrin. Thanks for joining us. So, the coalition is making this commitment after the federal government has not really done enough for the irrigation issue. What's going to be the Labor response, do you think?
Oh, well, I suspect very sincerely that Labor are going to have to match this announcement. Labor should have actually put this money into the budget this year. That was the promise of the local Labor member, Brian Mitchell. The member for Lyons. He promised his stakeholders that that would be the case. He is actually on the public record post the budget saying he was absolutely blindsided by the failure to secure this funding in that budget. It should have been the work of the Federal Agriculture Minister, who is herself Tasmanian, who should recognise the value that this project will create to increase agricultural productivity in this part of Tasmania, which is one of the driest regions in all of Tasmania. So it made no surprise to me that our candidate, Susie Bauer, came to visit me when it wasn't in the federal budget, to raise the potential this project brings, but also the fact that this is not an overnight thought bubble project. This has been in the making for years. Tasmanian Government is behind it. They've committed $75 million to it. Tasmanian irrigators are behind it. They've committed $75 million for it. So it makes absolute sense for us, if we are to win government, to commit $150 million to see this project delivered.
So why do you think this project, or this region, in fact, lost out in the funding allocation wars?
Well, I just think it shows that Labor was taking the region for granted. They're happy to fall over backwards to deliver for inner city urban seats and make sure everyone's catered for. They're happy to listen to Teals and other crossbenchers, but when it comes to their own people and this area that was held by Labor, even on a small margin, but still held by Labor, and they've completely dropped the ball. And I think it is very telling. And I think, you know, we're willing to listen. But it is on top of all of Labor's other anti-agricultural policies. The policy that is going to end up seeing farmers have to declare their carbon and methane emissions to banks and other large businesses so they can comply with Labor's emissions reporting framework. The policies that ensure that farmers are swept to one side as renewable energy companies and transmission line companies sweep in and require easements over land, productive agricultural land. Labor doesn't care about agriculture. We care about agriculture. We know that agriculture contributes such a lot to our economy, and we need to support agriculture and not keep punishing it.
So, in light of the recent polls about the coalition gaining ground and that only a few months to go till the federal election, how is that, you know, what's the sense within the coalition about how to run the next part of the campaign?
Well, we need to absolutely stay on message. We need to be talking to people about what matters to them. We can't let ourselves get distracted. We know that people are feeling the pinch. The cost of living crisis is coming to bite. Everything has gone up under Labor. We've got power prices going through the roof. Food and grocery prices are up. Insurance prices are up. Everything is costing more under Labor. And we need to talk to people about what our proposals are. We know that we've got nuclear on the table. We'll be bringing the costings out before the end of the year, and talking to people what matters to them and not being distracted by things like, you know, Anthony Albanese spent the first 2 years of his government talking about the Voice, an issue that was decidedly rejected by the Australian people, and they're still talking about a Makarrata Commission, even though the Voice went down so significantly in the Australian population.
Okay, thank you so much for your insights. Perrin Davey, Deputy Nationals Leader and